Hello, good people. This is Spot of Nerd. This just might be probably one of the shortest podcasts slash episodes we have ever done on this channel because we're going to do it very simplistically, if that's a word. We're going to keep it to the point because it is review week. And if you've been paying attention, review week means I am catching up on some of the most recent films that have either come out into theaters, obviously have come to streaming services, so on and so forth. And today we're going to talk about just an, I don't even, it's one of those you got to be careful with because, again, let's be real. The reason it was just an absolute joke, was an absolute failure, was because once again, they brought a political narrative throughout the entire fucking film. And I am talking about the most recent, I guess you would call it a reboot. I don't even know what you really would call it because they've tried to do it in the past and they failed miserably. But this takes the case because we are going to discuss Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. And once again, even I will admit, even I was caught off guard. When I first saw the trailer for the film, you've got Chris Pine, you've got Letty from the Fast and the Furious series, Hugh Grant, some other folks that you would know, you don't really know who they are, but you've seen them before. And you've got Dungeons and fucking Dragons, which is I would almost say the soul, the birthplace of, quote, the geek and or nerd. Dungeons and Dragons very well may be the greatest game of all time. This, of course, if you're not familiar with what Dungeons and Dragons is, go look it up. It is, I mean, to put it simplistically, it's a board game. You have dice that have almost, I mean, let's be real, they have 20 to 30 sides dice. And it's storytelling. It's where you get together with your friends and you build families, you build support, you build a story around, of course, fictional beings, fictional characters that expand into worlds that you never thought possible. You've obviously even seen it if you're a fan of Stranger Things on Netflix. It's one of the games the kids originally play, and again, just to put it bluntly, is legendary. This game is legendary. So when we saw the trailer, when we saw, of course, the news coming out that they were going to be bringing this movie together, everybody was genuinely excited because, let's be real, it's what we grew up with. It's what built our foundation of geekdom, nerdism, whatever you want to call it. And once again, it was completely destroyed as the movie got further and further to its release date. More and more, I would even say critics and reviews started coming out and basically saying, this movie is a disaster, all because of the narrative. Now, without getting myself into trouble, let's just say that if you know me, if you know my content, kind of, you could probably hint at where the narrative is. I'm not going to mention it specifically. We'll just say the movie tends to revolve around Letty's character. Let's just say they make Chris Pine out to be a joke, to be a wasteful idiot who has no reason to be there, so on and so forth. If you can pick up on just those little hints, you can kind of get where I'm going. And I wanted to give this a try. I really did, but it's cringeworthy, as far as just how bad that narrative goes. And to top it off too, it's embarrassing, the CGI effects. This is 2023. At this point, it's unacceptable. It really is. I mentioned this even just previously with the Fast 10 review, it is unacceptable in 2023 to have the CGI that we are getting recently in films. You know, I've even gone back specifically to watch some of the Fast and Furious films. The cinematography was superior in relation to what we're receiving now in these most recent films. And I don't know why that is. I mean, is it the budget? Is it the people doing it? Is it the businesses that are creating the scenes, etc.? I don't really know, but all I can come down to is y'all need to do better, because I'm sorry, when you can give us a season 3 of The Mandalorian that is damn near perfection in terms of cinematography, CGI effects, when you have a multi-million billion dollar franchise, it's just excuse me, it's just unacceptable. There's no other way to put it. So it's everything just falls apart within the first 5 to 10 minutes. And again, the dialogue is just I swear on my mother's grave, it took me probably 3 or 4 times, each time watching 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, to finish this film because it's so bad. I mean, I'm a big fan of, hey, you put your phone down when you're watching a film, pay attention to the film, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I really paid any much attention to the film because it was so boring. It was so there's nothing that grabs you. You don't give any shits about these characters. If anything, these characters, every single one has some sort of agenda. Whether it's the climate this or the climate that, or the politics this or the politics that. It's just you didn't even try to hide it into this story. And that's, I think, one of the biggest tragedies of it all, is because this is based off of science fiction. This is based off of storytelling. This is based off of shit that does not exist. And once again, you ruined it. I mean, Hollywood is digging their own graves at this point, and I can do nothing but sit back and laugh my ass off. Even just recently, going a little off topic, they're starting to show some of the reviews for the new Indiana Jones 5 film that is coming out. Everybody online, even the worst of the worst, are blasting this film in terms of how bad this film really is. And it is heartbreaking because these used to be incredible stories. And I have to kind of agree with I've mentioned them before, but some YouTube guys, Nerdrotic, they're starting to basically say, we need to start separating what was and what is. And what we mean by that, of course, if you take, for example, Indiana Jones, the real Indiana Jones was 1 through 3. It was Temple of Doom, it was the Ark one, and then, of course, Last Crusade. That is what Indiana Jones is. The other ones, they don't exist. They don't matter. And it's the same with Star Wars. You look at Star Wars, you had the original trilogy, the prequel trilogies, and everything. But Star Wars is the original trilogy. Everything after that really just doesn't matter because it's true. That is where the true storytelling began. That is where the true legend of whatever story was being told or characters began. So when you have a movie like Dungeons and Dragons that just does nothing at all except try so desperately to drive a narrative that nobody in this world gives any fucks about, it is no wonder it will fail. And it will continue to fail regardless if you continue to try and shove it down our throats. I don't understand why these producers, why these directors, why these big corporate people have not figured it out yet. Oh, we keep losing money. I don't know why. Yes, you do. At this point, you're doing it on purpose. And I can promise you, we are catching on more now than ever. And I can promise you, it's only going to get worse for your pocketbooks. So do yourselves a favor. If you decide to continue on with this movie in terms of, I mean, again, Dungeons and Dragons, you could make 30 films with this movie or with this type of genre. I guarantee you they won't even make a sequel because it is that fucking bad. And it did that fucking bad at the box office. So, with all of that said, I'm just going to wrap it up. So, huge thanks to everybody for listening. I really do appreciate it. Share me where you can, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Rumble, Rumble, Rumble is where it's at. And yeah, no, seriously, let me know what your thoughts are. Did you see it? Have you watched it? It's on every streaming service right now because they are so desperate. You always know when a film has just been an absolute disaster is when you can watch it on multiple streaming services free of charge because they need you to watch it so that somebody gives a fuck. Somebody out there needs to give a fuck about the film that we spent hundreds of millions of dollars on. Please, please watch our film. And the answer I would tell you is don't waste your time. Until next time, folks, we will see you guys next time. Later, y'all.